Good evening, everybody. Welcome along to this edition of SportsView on NairMedia.tv. Press the red button on the right-hand side. Subscribe to our channel. Very much appreciated. Good evening, Joe Waters, and welcome.
Good evening, Pat. How are you?
I'm not too bad. Recovering from my bug that I picked up on my travels, but our other member isn't better the flu tonight, Darwin. Get well, Darwin. Wrap up well and plenty hot powers. What do we say, will we? Or hot patties. Or whatever you have yourself, Darwin.
Hope it's not turn next week.
Yeah. And, well, we'll be looking at, there's one Premiership match left to be played tonight. That's between Newcastle and West Ham. They're kicked off and it's nil all so far. But anyway, it's Monday the 25th of November. It's only a month away from when we'll have a visitor coming down the chimney. A month from tonight. Anyway, we look forward to that. Over the weekend in the Premiership, there's wins for, Spurs, Chelsea, Brighton, Arsenal, Wolves, and Liverpool. Man U drew 1-1 with Ipswich Town. The reason I'm picking out that because their new manager was in situ, Amorim, for that match, and I think he's seen certainly the extent of the problem that's facing him at the club, in my opinion.
Oh, I think so. You know, you can change systems all you like and what have you, but it's still players that win and lose your games. And
exactly.
For United, it's the same old problem. I mean, the goal comes from the middle of the top of the 18-yard box in the middle of the field, and they're playing with two defensive midfield players. So I don't know how there's no one there to try and block the ball. So and again, you know, I mean, I think I have been saying for a long while that I don't think Ericsson is good enough to be playing all the time in the Premier League, and I think it's coming home to roost. And Casemiro has probably seen better days as well.
He's finished as well, and so is Johnny Evans. He's finished as well.
And Johnny Evans is another one, you know.
So, I think Amorim was faced with the prospect of starting what we call the established team in the club. This is what my reading of the game against Ipswich. He paid these players who we know a lot of money was paid for, and etc. But you know, I thought United were diving very, very. Some players were diving to the ground. Like snowflakes.
Yeah, well, you know, that seems to be the way it is these days. You know,
I thought I was shocked because that's not really Manchester United's way. You know,
no,
they generally get a knock, get on with the bloody game. But anyway, I think Amorim knows that he needs 6 or 7 players in the club, which is all order. He won't get them this season, but I think he'll do a holding job with them and see out the season with them with what he has, which is now, of course, Spurs had an absolute cracking win at Man City, and Man City was their 5th game in a row to lose, and of course, as we know, Man City are playing Liverpool next Sunday, and both Man City and Liverpool are playing during the week in Europe as well, and Liverpool are playing Real Madrid Wednesday night, I think it is. Yeah, Liverpool are playing Real Madrid, and Man City are playing Feyenoord Tuesday night. So the match is on next Sunday between. Now, if Man City were to lose that, they'd be 11 points behind Liverpool. I don't care how good a team they are. I know teams have brought back 11 points before. Liverpool are seen to be a settled team, except for Mo Salah. There's speculation about Mo Salah, and I think he should stay quiet. You know, I think the club, his contract is up, will be up, and there's no meaningful talks going on between himself and the club. You know, but I don't know what's happening there.
Well, I mean, you know, just to go back to the Spurs Manchester City for a minute.
Yeah.
to be fair, Man City could have scored 4 or 5 goals in that game if their finishing had been a little
Yeah,
bit more clinical. I mean, Haaland looks like he's on a bit of a rough go of it at the moment, but they had plenty of chances
they
to
had.
score. The biggest thing for me is easily they're giving up goals. That's not like City to do that, and I think to touch on the Liverpool game, if they lose that game 11 points behind, is a long, long way back.
It is. It is.
So they would need to be, I mean, they played 12 games, so that means that there's 26 left. So that's what's that? 78 points still to be played for, and they've got 20 odd. So that they'd have to win every one of them to get over the 90 mark points wise. But I still think that Liverpool have a glitch coming somewhere down the road. It will happen. But Liverpool have got. I think Liverpool better make the most of what they've got going this year, because you touch on Mo Salah, but also Virgil van Dijk and Trent Alexander-Arnold are both up contracts wise this year as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Very little discussion between any of them, and I mean, when you're looking at it, you're looking at Van Dijk and Mo Salah being in their early 30s, 32 and 33, I think.
Yeah, Van Dijk is 32, is he?
I think he might be 30. Is it the other way around? That Van Dijk is 32 and Salah is 33.
I don't think they'll be giving you huge contracts to those two players.
I don't think so, and that's why I'm saying Liverpool better make hay while the sun shines this year, because Mo Salah is going to leave at the end of the year, and they're going to get nothing for him.
Well, Mo Salah is looking at Saudi Arabia, I think. Myself.
Oh yeah, and I mean, Liverpool had an offer on the table for him last year and didn't accept it, so they've lost that money now. I just don't see them paying.
No.
Well, for a start, I don't think they can afford to pay all three guys the kind of money that they're talking about. I mean, it looks like Alexander-Arnold is already talking to Real Madrid, and his best buddy is over there already.
Jude Bellingham.
Yeah, so that's coming knocking there. So Liverpool might have all these players coming through the academy and doing all this, but to replace those three players is going to be a huge ask for them to do that. And they're not known really for spending a lot of money.
No, as I said, I saw the match Spurs and Man City, and Spurs played very well, I must say. I think they dismantled City in midfield. They destroyed them. I think they destroyed them midfield.
Yeah, they did. I mean, they really did. I mean,
they ran through them. Yeah.
All right. That this whole thing with Ilkay Gundogan coming back and what have you has not worked out for them. Kovacic being injured has
hurt
well, and of course Rodri has hugely hurt them. But they still should have the quality in that squad to be able to pull through. And I mean, I was looking at the table yesterday. In the league, they've only lost 3 games. So.
Yeah, I mean, where are we? Liverpool are on top 31 points. Man City have 23. Then Chelsea, Arsenal, and Brighton have 22. And then Spurs, Forest, and Villa have 19. So, excluding Liverpool, all the other teams are within 3 or 4 points of 2, 4, 6, 7 of them, 7 clubs.
Right.
So, I mean, it's very, very, very tight. One match can.
And that's the thing with it, I mean, if
City, one game can put you from 7th place to 2nd,
Yeah. I mean, if City go to Anfield and win, then it becomes a whole different ball game,
As I
But
said,
to
the
be
match
honest,
next, yeah, the match next
with
Sunday will tell a lot.
it's going to be a big ask for them to do that. So, but they kind of rode their luck a little bit against Southampton yesterday.
Liverpool did Southampton, to my mind, from the bottom top. They played well. They played very well. I know they got nothing out of the match, which is disappointing, but they played well. Liverpool had that little bit of extra quality that got them to 3 points, you know, I always felt that Liverpool were going to win the match. I saw most of the game. I always felt they were going to win it, even though they might have gone 1 or 2 behind at times.
Yeah.
I felt they had enough about them to do it, but they're a good solid team.
Well,
And
yeah, I think they're a good quality.
Leicester City are looking for a new manager,
Yes. Yeah, we are.
and I think Leicester. Well, there's a man out of work at the moment. Whether he'd be interested in the job, I don't know. David Moyes.
Well, I was reading in the paper uh, yesterday that the new ownership group for Everton um, were talking about, what were they talking about? David Moyes going. I forget now exactly. So he'd be a popular guy around the place. Less the job would be a good job for him. He could do a good job there.
He
Uh,
could.
so yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see who comes up. I mean, they talked about Ruud van Nistelrooy also been in the frame for that.
For Leicester City.
Yeah, and
Yeah, that'd be a good signing as well.
they're talking about they were very keen on Graham Potter the last time, but his buyout was way too expensive for them, so they went with the manager they went with, who was Steve Cooper, who was a very unpopular
He
choice.
was. Wonder why was that?
Well, I mean, you have to remember the rivalry,
Yeah,
between Forest and Leicester and Derby,
I know.
all of those things. It's
They're
just,
feeding. They're feeding.
as bad as Arsenal and Spurs and Liverpool and
Yeah,
and United and City. I mean, they're only 26 miles away from each other, so
yeah,
it's
yeah.
never, and especially Steve Cooper, as he got relieved of his position at Forest as well. So he wasn't, he wasn't a good choice for them.
Forest are doing very well, I must say. They're doing very well. Delighted to see. But in the championship, Burnley, Luton, and Middlesbrough all in wins in the championship, and the championship at the moment is very tight, as we say every week. Sunderland are on top with 32. Sheffield United have 32 points. Burnley have 30. Then Leeds have 29. Middlesbrough have 27. West Brom and Watford have 26, and Millwall has 24. So it's a very tight league in the
It's,
championship.
it's a very good division. It's a very competitive.
Oh, there's some great matches. I saw some of the matches. Some very, very good matches, I must admit. Some very good matches. Hell for leather. League One, then Wrexham had a good win. So in League One, Wycombe Wanderers are top with 35. Wrexham have 31. Stockport County have 30. And Birmingham have 30. Huddersfield have 26, Barnes is 26, Lincoln is 26, and Reading is 26. So that's another tight league. In League Two, then, just to finish off, Port Vale are top with 33, Walsall have 30 points, Doncaster have 29, Notts County 28, Crewe 28, MK Dons with 27, and Chesterfield and Grimsby Town with 25. So that's tight enough as well. So it's all in the weekend. And Tuesday night, Man City are playing Feyenoord, and Sporting Lisbon are playing Arsenal in the Champions League. You know, be interesting to see how Sporting will do now against Arsenal without Amarin.
Yeah,
And then Wednesday night, then we have Aston Villa are playing Juventus, Celtic are playing Club Brugge, and Liverpool are playing Real Madrid. Vinicius is out of that match with an injury, so he won't be playing in Anfield. But it still has the potential to be a good match anyway, you know.
Oh yeah,
Um, I mean, Real Madrid are a quality team,
yes,
and
they.
they're very well coached, you know. So, Sports News program here every Monday night on media.tv. Tell all your friends about us. Press the red button on the right hand side to subscribe to our channel. More than welcome. We had a few rugby matches over the weekend, and Ireland had their expected win over Fiji, which was a non-game really, 52-17. You couldn't call that a meaningful game of rugby. France beat Argentina 37-13. South Africa beat Wales 45-12. The All Blacks beat Italy 29-11. And England beat Japan 59-14. And Scotland beat Australia 27-13, you know, which is good win for Scotland. And Australia are playing Ireland next weekend in Dublin, so we'll see how they go. They're a young team, very young team, Australia, in the top 14 over across the way where we were visiting 2 weeks ago. Montpellier had their win in the rugby. They have a magnificent stadium over there for anybody who would like interested in rugby. 30 points to 3 they beat Power, and Ronan O'Gara's team were beaten again. Cast beat them. La Rochelle 28-14 in the top 14. Rugby, I know people, I didn't realise it myself. Rugby is a massive sport in France. It's absolutely, it's bigger than soccer.
Oh yeah,
It's
yeah.
bigger than, it's just, I mean, we were in Montpellier. I mean, the when you go to Manchester, we'll say, and you go to the sports shops, it's all soccer jerseys and everything. When you go to the sports shops in Montpellier, it's all rugby.
Yeah. Well,
And it's very very much uh, part of their fabric there, you know, communities, you know.
oh, yeah. I mean, when France won the World Cup in soccer, they were soccer was the third sport in France. You had cycling, rugby
Yeah,
above it.
and soccer, yeah, that's right.
So yeah. So I mean, what they've done there with their football has been
Phenomenal.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
But they've put resources into soccer in France, like both stadium and facilities and everything, you know. And rugby as well is very well ingrained into the community, you know, because what I noticed from, you know, small towns especially, say in Ireland you'll expect to see a GA pitch and a pavilion in every parish. In France you expect it's rugby, a rugby pitch, a complex and everything in all little communities. So it's very well developed there, you know. So that's why it's surprising to me that France haven't been more successful in the World Cup in rugby. But anyway, um, today would be what's his name, Frank Worthington's 75th birthday. You remember Frank Worthington?
I played with him.
Yeah, and I, let's remember his skill on what would be his birthday, his 75th birthday.
Allardyce's throw was header, Gowling under it. Worthington now from Gowling's header, and Worthington, and what a beautiful Worthington goal! Frank Worthington.
There's a Frank. He used to dress up as Elvis a lot. I heard, like Elvis, you know. He had
Oh, yeah. How many times I've seen him do stuff like that? He used to do stuff like that in training every day.
go here.
He was absolutely amazing.
He
And
only, he only won eight England caps, I think. Yeah,
yeah,
something.
yeah.
Which is you
And
wonder.
Joe Mercer was the one. There was Keith Weller and Frank, Peter Shilton, all played for England at the same time. We were in '74, when Joe Mercer became the interim manager for England.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
got their caps. And it was a tragedy, really, that Frank didn't get more. But they wanted more. You know what? I mean, I don't. Again, you look at another one that was a Mercurial player, Peter Osgood,
Yeah.
Chelsea.
Oh, he was just Peter Osgood. I saw Peter Osgood playing. He was just phenomenal.
And he didn't get that many caps.
No, he did not.
Trevor Wymark, who was a great centre forward for Ipswich Town for Sir Bobby Robson.
And do you remember John Mark? He played with me as well. John Mark.
John Moore played for Ipswich. Yeah,
Yeah,
he did.
very good player.
Yeah.
But
So yeah,
Frank Worthington to me was we only saw him on this side of the pond when he was playing international with England, which was very little, and then we get the odd the ITV grandstand and the match of the day. Of course, Gary Lineker, as you know, is leaving match of the day at the end of the season.
yeah.
And Alan Shearer's come out and said he's not interested in being presented on match of the day, you know, himself. I can see why, yeah. But really,
I'm not interested, but I am. Yeah.
Yeah, that program has gone stale. It needs a revamp. It's gone very, very stale. Excuse me. I think it is anyway. You know, Joey Barton was given out again over Alex Scott commentating on men's soccer over the weekend.
Yeah, it's I mean, that's interesting that, you know, it's
why doesn't Joey Barton be given match of the day?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be a great change for the BBC? But they'd never do that. They'd never do that for the BBC.
No.
But it's still bringing in a huge viewership. Match of the day viewership, simply because you get all the highlights of all the matches. As simple as that. It's the only channel that you'll get them on. You know.
Yeah.
Like that. The TNT Sports who they were before TNT, there were someone else. Their coverage of the Champions League is very good. You know, they have in one of their channels they have cameras at all the games,
right,
and they keep you up to date with all the matches as they progress through the night. So it's very, very good channel to watch it. And I like the commentators as well. You know.
Yeah.
Anyway. That was our Frank Warren. That was he Bolton Wanderers. That was it Bolton he was with?
He was playing for Bolton then, yeah. Yeah, he left. I'm trying to think what year he left Leicester. In fact, when I was back in Grimsby a few weeks ago. I met with Frank's brother Dave a couple of times.
Yeah,
he was captain of Grimsby Town when Laurie McMenemy was the manager back in the day, just before I got there. And we were reminiscing about Frank and what a character he was. You know, you talked about him being Elvis and what have you.
Yeah.
And he was a very flamboyant character, absolutely.
Colourful.
Yeah,
he was with Leicester City. He was with Leicester City, Joe. Sorry for calling you across you. He was with Leicester City from 72 to 77.
Yeah.
And then he was with Bolton Wanderers for 77 to 79. Huddersfield Town, he was with 66 to 72 with Huddersfield Town.
Yeah, he won the second cap. He was supposed to go to Liverpool, you know.
Go here.
Yeah, he'd all but signed. He went to Liverpool and they were paying 100 grand for him before Liverpool got Toshak. I want to say, and there's 100 grand was the fee, and Frank went for his.
He went to Philadelphia Furies.
Yeah.
Philadelphia on loan. He played 2 New York times. Believe it or not, Joe, he played with Galway United. He played 2 matches with Galway United in 1989.
Yeah. So he was, when he went to Liverpool, he went for his physical and his blood pressure was high. So they told him go to Spain for 2 weeks and have a holiday and come back. And when he came back, his blood pressure was even higher. To Spain was not a good idea. So,
did he meet George Best over there?
yeah, he met a few people, but Liverpool pulled out the deal anyway. And then a few weeks later, Jimmy Bloomfield paid 80 grand for him to bring him to Leicester. And he used to have a wardrobe like you wouldn't believe. But
Yeah.
every 6 months or so, he would change his wardrobe.
Yeah.
He would come into the reserve team dressing room where all the young guys togged out at Leicester. And we had a big treatment table in the middle of the dressing room. He'd come in with an armful of clothes and he'd just throw them all on the treatment table. And he'd go, "There you are, lads, help yourselves. I've got a whole new wardrobe. This is for you." And he just put the table for us. So, say I didn't get any because he was about a foot taller than me. So
yeah. And Frank, Alzheimer's got him at the end of his life. Alzheimer's, which was very sad in a way. Very sad, you know.
Yeah.
Very sad. And he was young enough when he was 72, I think, when he died, or 73, or something like that. You know.
Yeah.
But another fantastic character from soccer today, you know, from soccer in the 70s and 80s, full of characters. And you see the conditions of the pitches, the playing surfaces they had to deal with, you know. To be like him, you know, it's just unbelievable. And there was a video up to today. There was this fella in Northern Ireland, forget his name now. He was saying that the best soccer player he ever saw was George Best. And he said, the reason I'm saying that is this. And he showed some clips of Best playing in complete and utter muck. George Best, in order to get it past the player, had to take 3 or 4 extra touches because of the condition of the ground, you know. He couldn't slide a ball past you and run it past you, you know, because he stuck in the muck. Right. So the skill level that was required to do that had to be very high, you know. And people like him and players like him, you know. It was a very interesting point he was making, you know. But we remember Frank Worthington on his birthday. He would have been 75 this weekend gone, and that's why I thought I couldn't pick out. There isn't a whole lot on him, clips, you know. There wasn't a whole lot of clips you could find on him, you know. But he was a god in bold. Oh yeah, he spent 4 or 5 years with Leicester City, did he?
Yeah.
Where was he from? I forgot to look it up.
He was, I think he was born in Grimsby.
Oh, really?
Yeah, his mother and his sister lived in Grimsby. His brother Dave lived in Grimsby. Dave, back in the day, was, like I said, he was a Grimsby Town player. And back in the day, Dave used to have an ice cream truck that he would work in the summer, making money. Wages not great at the time.
Was he one of those players, Frank Worthington, of the era where you got no money in the off season?
No, that was probably that he came along just after that. He would have been around probably in the early years of that.
Yeah.
Some of that's still around, but you know, guys weren't making that much money.
No.
We were talking about it when we met a few weeks ago. So they all had jobs in the off season to supplement their income. So it.
Was he able to sing?
He could do an impression of Elvis. He could.
Yeah.
Yeah. The cars he have were, I mean, he had loads before anybody had one. You know, him and George are
we'll dig out a bit and Elvis showing some night for him anyway. That's Frank Worthington in there, you know. But getting back to the soccer, I suppose Manchester City now will be under pressure tomorrow night. They're playing Feyenoord. I think they should win that, Joe, you know. They'd be famous to win that. I think they'll have too much
They would win that. Yeah.
You would expect them, and you'd expect. Well, Liverpool and Real Madrid will be the match of the week in Liverpool. Villa
That's,
and Juventus
yeah.
is a good match as well, really, in Juventus. And over the weekend, of course, we had Max Verstappen won the Grand Prix down in Las Vegas over the weekend, which meant that he can't be caught at the top, which effectively means he's won his fourth Formula One championship in a row, you know. I suppose sometimes when you think of the modern day Formula One and compare it to the greats like Sterling Moss and those people, and Fangio and all those people, it's very hard to do it because, I mean, even if you put up your middle finger now and you're passing someone in the Formula One race, you're likely to get a 5-second penalty, which
Right.
it's gone ridiculous, I think myself, you know. A lot of sports are, but certainly Formula One is. I didn't realise there are so many places you can't pass out in Formula One either. There's,
Right.
there's, there's designated places on the track that you can pass a car. I mean, I don't know what to say about that, you know. I mean,
Yeah. It's a tough sport to
um,
watch. I mean, now it really is. You know, when they, when you think back to the days like you're talking about with James Hunt and Nicky Lauda,
yeah,
Nigel Mansell, all those guys that were
that's right, yeah.
Derek Boss, Jim Clark, Jackie Stewart, all those guys, Mario Andretti, you
Yeah,
know, guys like that were John Surtees, those really great drivers, and
Giles Villeneuve, I remember Giles Villeneuve, great, yeah, great
it
driver.
was it was an art back then. Now it's I mean it was art and courage and all those things that were about it. Equipment was important as well, but now it just seems to be, I don't know, it's lost for me anyway. It's lost. It's
Uh,
lost a little bit.
yeah, exactly. There are too many rules and regulations. Well, the result of the Grand Prix, just to give it out to people, was Russell won it, Hamilton second, Sainz Jr. was third, Charles Leclerc fourth, Verstappen fifth, and Lando Norris was sixth. So the final points tally: Verstappen has 403, and Lando Norris has 340, which means if he wins the last two races, he still can't pass him. So that's why Charles Leclerc was in third place and Piastri was in fourth. But Norris has come on in leaps and bounds, Lando Norris this year. You know, who's the runner up to Verstappen, and he's a cracking driver as well, you know. So you don't know. In the golf over the weekend, one of the golfers that I love watching for her golf was Lexi Thompson, who's been a character in the ladies' golf game for 17 years, I think, altogether. She played her last big tournament over the weekend, and the treatment of ladies' golf by the networks over the weekend was just brutal, to say the least. Um, so it's the last tournament of the year for the women. It was the final tournament. It was their race to Dubai tournament, for them. It was a $4 million tournament for the best women. Our own Leona Maguire made the tournament and she made the cut as well, which was a tremendous achievement for her, you know. She hasn't had the best of years, but she played well and gritty. But Lexi Thompson was the thing. And even the start of the final round, they put them into threes instead of twos to try and get them finished so they could show the men's golf, you know, the networks. So she finished her round on the ninth hole, which meant that she wasn't in up with the leaders. So all the crowds were on the 16, 17, and 18 because the leaders were there. And it was a dead atmosphere. She said herself, well, she was very kind, but everybody knew what she was thinking. But she's such a, she qualified for her first tournament at the age of 12, you know, her first professional tournament. So she was a precocious talent, so to speak. But I think she only won one major, but she was such a competitor and such a fantastic golfer, and had always had a great rapport with the audience, with the people following her around. Hence, she was very popular, you know. She played in loads of Salon Cups as well with America, I think 7 or 8 of them. But another character gone out of the golf. But the tournament itself was won by Titikul from Thailand. Lovely golfer, minus 22 she went around in, and she won $4 million for her 4 rounds. Leona Maguire from Ireland finished at -4. She finished around 37th or 38th place. She got $60,000 for her weekend's work, which wasn't bad at all, you know. But Lexi Thompson was in this, which was a. Now, we all thought that Elvis had left the building, as we said before. Elvis, you know, had left the building. We were talking about Elvis. In fact, it's funny how his name always comes up. But Elvis won. The Australian PGA. Elvis Smiley won the Australian PGA. And I don't know what kind of a slang he'd get with a name, his first name Elvis. So people might remember his mother, Jo Smiley. She was a professional tennis player from Australia. But Elvis Smiley, he's only 22 anyway, but he beat Cameron Smith into second place, one of his heroes, you know. He won this tournament, the Australian PGA, about $200,000 euro, so, and -14. But he was, there you are. So Elvis is still in the building, for all of you who are following that story, you know. And a great name. Don't they have great names in America, Joe? I'm sure you know yourself, you're there long enough. Maverick McNeely. Maverick McNeely. No, there's a name for you. He won the RSM Classic and at -16, and he won $1.36 million for his weekend's work. So, and he's been knocking the door for a while. He's had a reasonable year, but that sets him up for the year, you know, that kind of money. So that was the golf taking care of him. I think Lexi Thompson will be missed on the tour, but it just goes to show I'm surprised that the sponsors will have a lot to say about the women's golf, because particularly the sponsors of the women's tournament that that was run by Tidical, they've put about $8 million into that tournament, and to be treated like that by the networks who are covering golf, I think there'll be repercussions for that, you know, because they did merit. Considering that all the top women players in the game were at that tournament. You know, Nelly Cardell, Lydia Cole, Lexi Thompson, Brooke Henderson, Charlie Hull, who finished 5th or 6th, you know. There was a lot. I mean, really and truly, for people who follow golf, I think it was very, very shabbily done, you know. We were talking today that during the week, well, we didn't have any program last week, Joe, but I presume you saw the match between the Republic of Ireland and England at Wembley.
Yeah.
And they held their own well in the first half, you know. And I had to go out to the shop before it closed, and I came back to about 3-0 down, you know. And but goes to show, although we can say, in defence of our own little minnows here in the Republic of Ireland, we can say England never won the European Championship and Ireland never won it either, you know. So we're equal in that respect. Just to hold on to something positive. But
Yeah.
Anyway,
But it was just unfortunate. The red card spoiled the game.
the red card destroyed the match. It wasn't a red card.
Well, I mean, and here's the problem that you've got. You know, he's fouled the guy in the box, so
It's a penalty. It's a penalty.
and it is technically a yellow card. But you know, the sad part is the lack of discipline in kicking the ball away just before halftime that gets him his first yellow card. Now you're you know
You're in trouble.
you're on thin ice for the rest
Yeah.
of it. You know? And I mean, to be fair, Ireland had a fair shout for a penalty. The English guy had a hold of the Irish player's shirt.
Well, it was a penalty
Yeah, it was a penalty. Yeah,
that they did
and
not place.
you know, if the trip is a penalty, then the pulling the shirt is a penalty. So
I mean,
I don't know.
the penalty that Southampton got against Liverpool, that your man sliced down the Southampton player. What's his name? Robertson.
Oh yeah,
He didn't even get a yellow card.
no, No.
Did you notice that in the match? He didn't get a yellow card and he gave away a penalty. And Kelleher, in fairness to Kelleher, he saved the penalty, but obviously the rebound. But I mean, Kelleher is another player that'll be leaving Liverpool at the end of the season.
Yeah.
Because he's not number one there, and you can't blame him.
And he can't afford to. To be honest, he needs to get on with his career. He served his time.
Of course. I think he'll go to Europe. I don't think he'll stay in Britain. I think he'll go to Europe. That's my own feeling on the matter,
Yeah.
I think he will.
I don't know. I mean, there's plenty of spots that he could go to in the Premier League that a guy of his talent.
Without a shadow of a doubt at all, I think he needs to leave if he wants to progress professionally in his career.
He served his time at Liverpool, and there's no sign of him coming out, and being the starting player. So moving on is makes the most sense for him.
And he has he's a fine goalkeeper. I think he's very good. Very good goalkeeper.
And he needs playing time. He needs to be in games. He needs to have to be making decisions in big situations that is going to help him grow as a goalkeeper and as a player as well. So, and that's not going to help. That's not going to help
absolutely.
On the bench and playing in League Cup matches and stuff like that.
Yeah, I hope for his own sake. I mean, you could potentially have Salah, Van Dijk, and Kelleher gone out of Liverpool at the end of the season.
Yeah. Yeah, and Alexander Arnold. I mean, that's 4 guys gone from the squad.
And four.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be. I mean, those 4 players out of the Liverpool team would be a massive loss to Liverpool.
Yes, they would. Yeah.
But then again, if they are champions, people will want to go and play for them.
Yeah.
If they win the title.
The thing is, if you're losing guys for no money coming in, and, Liverpool are not for deep pockets. They don't want to overspend. They don't want to go into debt.
No, they're a solid team. The club is very well run, and they always seem to do well in picking players. They seem to do very well.
Yeah.
But there's the last Premier League match of the weekend is on tonight as we're on air, and it's half time, and West Ham are winning 1-0 against Newcastle United up in Newcastle. Because I'd say not to be cold up there this time of the year, Joe.
Oh yeah, it was.
It's cold up there even in the summertime.
Yes, it is. It is.
Yeah. It's an amazing part of England, Sunderland and Newcastle. I mean, those 2 clubs seem to have such a dedicated, passionate fan base, both those clubs. Through thick and thin, it doesn't matter,
Oh, yeah.
My abiding member is it Bob Stoker?
Yeah.
With the little Trilby hat?
Yeah.
When they won the FA Cup that time. And he said to the BBC man, "What do you mean? I always knew we were going to win it. Why are you asking me that question, He's surprised, I always knew we were going to win that match, Against a very good Leeds team, must have as well,
And Stoker and Don Revy did not like each other. Stoker actually detested Don Revy.
So that put a bit of spice into the game, so.
Yeah, it did. So but I mean, Sunderland had, when they were in the 3rd division, they were drawing 30,000 crowds.
Yeah, I mean,
it's football is a way of life up there. You
I
know.
know Roy Keane Roy Keane was manager up there, and he spoke about the pure passion, for soccer up there, for in that in that ground, in Sunderland, and that's why I like to see them. Well, I mean, they're top of the championship, you know.
Yeah.
They're another one of the teams I love to see coming back up, Sunderland, and Burnley and Leeds. Leeds we've mentioned the last couple of years for coming up, but they just slipped up. But I think that they might come up. If you have Sunderland and Leeds and Burnley back up again in the championship, in the Premiership, could be a good measure of them, a good measure of the clubs, But they'll be guaranteed a crowd in Sunderland anyway. And as I said, Newcastle. Would you call Newcastle a big club now in England?
Oh yeah, Newcastle are a big club.
Yeah.
They're every time I've played up there, the place has been sold out. And you talk about passion and what have you. They are so passionate about their football up there as well. So yeah, I mean they have the potential to be a huge club, and I don't know why it really hasn't happened for them. They're you know you're talking about teams there. I think that Leeds is a huge club. And,
absolutely. I mean, Leeds are.
Out of the three clubs that you talked about there, Leeds, Sunderland, and Burnley, I think Burnley are going to be a bit of a yo-yo club just because the ground isn't that big and their revenue turnover is not that big, but they're a little bit like Watford. They can be a good second division championship team, but not a good Premiership team. So I can see the ups and downs. Sunderland might do better just because of their fan base. How they are. I could see them being a mid-table team in the Premiership. But Leeds is a club that could really push on and break into the top six if it was done properly.
Yeah. Newcastle United at the moment, I know they're losing 1-0. They're on 18 points. They're in ninth place in the table, and West Ham have 15 points, and they're down in 14th place. They're 1 point behind Manchester United on 16. So, Manchester United have only won 4 games out of the 12, Joe.
Yeah.
Which is my God, it's they've won 4, drawn 4, and lost 4.
They are 500 team, yeah. So it's things are going to have to change there, and people, Ruben Amorim said, in one of his press conference the other day, you're going to see a totally different setup at United from now on. There was big to-dos about Marcus Rashford being in New York to watch a basketball game, and then Casemiro took his family to Disneyland or Disney World and what have you. And, that's just a culture in the club that has to stop. Here's how far that slipped. I do not believe that Sir Alex Ferguson would have given them 5 days off if they were not on international duty.
Not when you look at the position of them in the table and the form of the team.
To maintain it. Steve McLaren tells a story about Sir Alex Ferguson. When they played Bayern Munich in the European Cup, when they came back and won in the last 2 minutes of the game to win the treble, Steve McLaren said, he said to himself, that's it. No, he said, we're off on holidays. Everything will be great. So Alex Ferguson says, okay, lads, when they get back to Manchester, he said, okay, he said, all the staff, breakfast at Carrington tomorrow at 7:00. We need to set things up for next year. So they arrive at the training ground, tea, bacon sandwiches come out, and they're into doing the work for the next season. That was the way United was run with Sir Alex Ferguson.
Yeah.
Now you got these guys going off on 5-day vacations. You know, you can't blame the players because the club it's
Yeah,
five off.
in between matches during the season, I think it's a no-no.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolute
And
no-no.
kind of a culture that you have in place. And
I mean, I look at some of the junior soccer clubs in Clare and Limerick. Their attitude to the game, to the soccer club, is totally different. You know, they might now tell me they might have 2 games in the week, one midweek and one the weekend. There's no drinking during the week, no drinking and no partying. I mean, these are just part-time junior soccer players, but they take the game seriously. They know the consequences for the body is a serious injury if you don't train properly, if you don't warm up properly and warm down. So they realize this, and these are not getting any money for the game. You know, they're playing it for the love of the game, and their attitude is good and positive. But as you said, the culture that's built up in a club, it'll take Amarim a while, but I have no doubt he's young, he has the energy, and he knows, and he met characters like these right throughout his professional life, and I think there'll be a big clean out of the club by the end of the season.
it might take a bit more than the end of the season to get
It
people
might, it
on.
might, it
Just,
might.
I mean, some of these guys are on fantastic contracts and what have you. So, but it will happen, and he doesn't look like a guy that suffers fools gladly.
I,
You
I,
know,
I don't think he'd be spoken down to by a director of football anyway.
well, and that's the thing with it. I mean, he even made the comment himself in his press conference. He said it's okay having all these people, with their input to who you're going to sign and what have you. But he says the final say is with the manager, the coach. If
Yeah,
that he doesn't want those players, then he doesn't get them
that's
because
right. Yeah,
it's his team,
but
and
he,
that's
he,
how you do it. It's not somebody coming to you and saying, "Oh, we're giving you this fella, and you do this." No, that's not the way. That's not the way it works.
we
You
like the
your own player.
we like the scene in Moneyball, that film, the next film in Moneyball, when the season was over and they were buying players, and before he changed it around, he listened to all the lads sitting around saying, "Who do you want?" And we get this fella and that fella. Oh, we can't have him. He only pitches from the left. He only has a left hand. And no, stop, lads. We're not doing that anymore. There's total silence in the room, you know.
Yeah,
And they said to, well, I forget his name now, the character he was playing. They said to him,
okay.
if we're not doing it this way anymore, you're not going to do our jobs for us, you know. And he just said, we have a new way now. We're going to have a new way from now on, you know.
Yeah,
We're not, we're not going to spend any money because you were a pal of ours in that club. So you're a nice fella, and we're going to give you the 5 million instead of 1 million, you know. But I love the money ball. I love the film, you know. You could
yeah,
translate it into any sport, you know. It
yeah.
was, it was absolutely brilliant, you know.
I
Brilliant.
watched it again a couple of weeks ago. It was
Yeah.
it's a good watch.
The man came in, he all the stats and the thing. The boys didn't know what was happening.
Yeah,
When uh, Philip Seymour Hoffman, who was the coach, remember?
right. Yeah,
When there was 3 players brought in, when he heard about it, he nearly went bananas. I mean, and but then when your man sat down and explained to him what they're doing, what they'll be doing in the club, in the team, he didn't realize just, yeah, because they only had a very limited budget. But the thing I loved it was a great story. I think it's one of the best um, sports films I saw in years. You know, absolutely fantastic. You know,
yeah,
I know there was one made, Raging Bull, with Robert De Niro, and the life of Jake LaMotta. That was more dramatic, but that was an individual sport, but the Moneyball was, it went under the radar for people, but I think it's a fabulous film. I suppose Field of Dreams is another good film, you know.
That was another
Kevin
good. It was.
Kevin Costner,
Yeah.
but we wouldn't have an insight here in Ireland into baseball at all, So there's a learning curve as well for us,
Did
and
you did you ever see the baseball movie that Costner was in, Bull Durham?
I did, yeah.
Fun.
I like Bull Durham. I
Yeah,
like Bull Durham. Yeah, I
yeah,
like that. Yeah,
yeah.
he's very good. Anyway, we look forward to good soccer matches, George, during the week, and there are probably one more thing again until February, I think. The ladies are out. The ladies Irish team are out in their playoff. They have two playoff matches now: away to Wales and home to Wales. So it'll be they're very evenly matched, both teams. So it'll be a dogfight to get through. But we wish them well. I think they're playing this week. I'm not too sure now. I didn't look it up. Anyway, Joe, from hopefully now hopefully our patient will be fully recovered for next Monday.
Yeah.
Plenty hot toddies, plenty hot toddies there. When think about you and enjoy yourself and wrap up well. So from Joe Waters and from myself, Pat Larry, until we meet again, lads, next Monday night. Happy sporting week, and we look forward to Liverpool and Real Madrid on Wednesday night.